And we are live and we are back.
Let's go.
I'm Corey.
I'm Jordan.
And this is a Cordan FinallyFit podcast, and we are back.
Like we never left.
We are back like we never left. Episode.
Oh, shoot. What episode is it?
Nah, it's episode 56.
All right, my bad. Let's try it again. Episode 56.
Episode 56. This is like Lawrence Taylor. For those of y'all first time tuning in, when we do our episode numbers, I don't know when we started, what number we started this.
I think it was like low 20s, high teens. It's been a while.
Yeah, I think it was around there. But we do the best jersey numbers for that Bleacher Report has said. But for 50, I'm saying this for 56 because if you don't know, there's one person for this, and it is Lawrence Taylor.
Yes, sir.
Hall of Fame linebacker for the New York Giants. Played all 13 seasons with them. 10-time Pro Bowler. Won 2 Super Bowls, and he was named the Defensive Player of the Year 3 times. And I believe only he and Aaron Donald or he and J.J. Watt have 3 of those awards. We talking about video games before this. It is a reward, but it's an award.
An award. It's always an award.
Yeah. He was on the set.
No, stop.
He's on the 75th All Anniversary team, and he's obviously in the Ring of Honor of the Giants. He's in the Hall of Fame, and his number is retired. Other notes for 56 is Sergei Savab, and he played hockey. Now, if you don't know Lawrence Taylor, is the best defensive player of all time. And depending on who you talk to, if they had a first pick ever of all NFL players, they would pick him first. Okay, if you know anything about Joe Theismann, this is the person who broke his leg over compound. Okay, this is that person, and he has the highlight. We said we're gonna come at him like a pack of wild dogs. That's Lawrence. If you've ever heard that NFL clip, you might hear it now because we're going to NFC Conference Championship week and Super Bowl. If you ever hear that clip, that's Lawrence Taylor who said that.
Gotcha.
All righty.
My college coach used to say that all the time. I never put it together. I never knew where that came from. So thank you for that because he used to say that all the time. I was like, yeah, all right. I just thought it was West Virginia thing, but whatever.
I'm pretty sure he heard it first from Lawrence Taylor. You know what I mean? The funny thing about not the funny thing, but Lawrence Taylor, his defensive coordinator was, you don't know, Bill Belichick.
Nope. Okay.
And Bill Belichick also was head coach of Tom Brady. And so arguably he coached the 2 best offensive players ever. What are the chances?
Gotcha.
What are the I like to bring up Bill Belichick because he's from Maryland, but he's from Anne Arundel County. But shout out to when I always say I'm trying to be the second best ever from Anne Arundel, greatest from Anne Arundel County because Bill Belichick is literally from my county. Like I could have went to the same high school as him. So I always like to throw in Bill Belichick nuggets.
I see.
Yeah. Well, people don't be giving Maryland enough respect, or you know what I mean. Like I be trying whenever I be trying to give us credit for stuff. People like, oh yeah, and like maybe that's why Wale don't get no credit because y'all don't back him enough. Shout out to Wale. Wale is amazing. You know what I mean? Like
you be locked in.
I mean, but then again, Jada Pickett is from Baltimore. Anyways, so. All right, then. All right. All right.
Hold on. For our first time listeners, we talk about health and
wealth
and fitness and
finances
and everything in between.
And we want to make sure you save more and say less.
And keep making better your best.
Yes. Also, make sure you hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Shout out to the YouTube algorithm. Leave your comments. And we are live. And I did put the link to join the show in the YouTube chat. So if you want to join the show, please come up and let us know, and we'll add you into it. Make sure you ain't got nothing crazy going on. We don't want to get flagged, so please. The great thing is we gotta add you to the show, and we can take you out. So we both got the admin privileges. So you do something crazy, take you off.
Voted. All right, yeah. We will kick you out of here. All right,
and then also as well, please don't sue us, sue your mama. Yep. This is for entertainment purposes. Please don't sue us, sue your mama. This is for entertainment purposes only. Okay. Jordan is not a fitness professional unless you sign the FinallyFit agreement. I am not a finance professional. Everything you hear on here needs to be researched by yourself, and/or you need to reach a professional on your own. Is that good? Is that it? We need to get that and start reading it.
We do. Especially since we go online now. You know what I mean?
All right. Did you have any errors?
Probably. I mean, are you asking me
no, I'm just asking you. I'm asking. Okay. All right. Do we have any feedback?
No, not this time.
No feedback this time. All right, then. All right. Did you have anything else? We're 5 minutes in.
Nah.
Well, Pastor Perry, I think we can start cussing stuff now.
I think we.
I'm joking. Try to keep it PG.
Wilding out.
I got a tag for not for kids.
That is true. We are explicit. I think we good today. I'm trying to.
Okay.
Nah,
you got your link up, right?
Anything?
No, I'm good. I didn't have any current events. We'll update you student loans in a month. Today is January 29th. The court case is February 28th. So let me see.
Yeah.
We'll update y'all on March 12th. That'll be the next episode. I'll update y'all on Wealth Wednesday, but as far as Jordan, that's when we'll have the next update on here.
I hope the next update come with a check, because boy, am I tired of waiting. Anyways, I know they ain't gonna pay me, but you know what I mean. Like for the metaphor of I'm trying to get paid. I know I'm not gonna physically get a check for anybody that's listening. All right, y'all probably like, oh, he's stupid. No, I'm not. I know I'm not gonna get a check, but I do hope it comes with the 10K, because like I'm tired. Like,
okay, well, as always, we'll just talk about student loans again for current events, because it's just a bit. I put it like this: we had 2 different banners here for student loans. Yeah, I mean,
this is the podcast started.
Look,
we had like let's just call it what it is. We on episode it's 50. What are we 55? 56.
56 of this one. Yeah, we're almost 100 deep. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. We got time.
I don't know. I've been telling people, and again, I mean, if y'all want to know how we feel about student loans, I went live and did almost 4 hours straight about student loans. So unintentional, by the way. I didn't think it was gonna be that long. I think it was gonna be like a 2-hour mark, and I was getting towards the end. And I was like, God, I'm more than dehydrated. You know, when like you don't water's not gonna fix it. You need to start like you need to rest.
I said I'm parched. I am dehydrated.
Yeah, I needed to rest. I needed to stop talking. But
for those who don't know how we feel about the student loans, look,
I've already said this before.
Okay, that's Cory on the student loans. All right.
I just want to make sure people know, because I don't think enough people know, that when the court case ends, your student loan starts 60 days after that. That's when it's going to happen. They said that June 30th date, and you and myself, everybody else, okay, June 30th / July 1st is when they're going to start back up. That, just like all the other forbearance dates. No, that's not the case. That is not that.
Plot twist.
No. No, play the lies. Play the lies. Play
the
lies. There you go. The lies.
And it wasn't a lies. It's like the definition of a political statement, like a reading the fine print. The student loans are starting 60 days from when the court hearing ends, regardless of what the ruling is. If the court case is still going on / ends June 30th, then it will start 60 days from that. So in short, 60 days from February 28th is April 30th, and 60 days from June 30th is August 30th. So between April 30th and August 30th, I highly recommend you prepare to be making a student loan payment by then.
That's
and remember,
it's such a wide area. Like we talking about the 4th month of the year and the 8th month of the year. Like,
well, one of the issues.
Checks I get between them. Sorry,
no, you're good. No, but like this, I have no issue. But I want to also be. We're supposed to be. We got to be on time. So we can go for 2 hours, but we can't. You know what I mean? Like, we try to be respectful. But what's it called? The issue is legally, which is why they were saying like the student loans were going to start back up in December / this year. Is right. By law they're required to send you all notices 6 weeks before your payment starts back up if it's in forbearance. And so 60 days is 8 weeks, right? So that's sort of what that is right there. But again, please remember, this is regardless of the ruling. So the best case scenario / worst case is y'all get the forgiveness because y'all want the forgiveness. But if y'all get the forgiveness on February 20th when the court case start, that means your payments are starting up in April / May. I mean, have a look at it. May 1st. I've already said it enough on what the day is, but May 1st. I mean, I just want to so that's 2 months, by the way. I mean, that's how you want to look at it. But March and April, May is in 3 months. I know people. I mean, January is over. I mean, time fly. But like, I just want y'all to understand that if you do get the forgiveness that you've been waiting for, and it occurs essentially, it's late now, right? Because y'all supposed to get it, beginning of this year, right? Yeah. So if y'all get it on February,
let me stop.
Yeah, look, you better take what you can get. Do not poke the
I need my 10K, and they're going to get the rest back in blood. They're going to come up like, FBI, help it up. All right, because I'm not getting it. No,
I need to talk about this. I need to talk about this. The Republicans trying to get rid of the IRS. I want to be very, very clear. Don't Did you see that?
I did not. What?
Oh, we're gonna talk about that today then.
Okay, all right. What?
Oh my goodness, they're trying to get rid of the IRS. Republicans want to abolish the IRS. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that today then. We're gonna talk about the debt ceiling. We can talk about that. Anyways, put like this. I ain't a killer, but don't push me. Don't push them. Don't.
You're trying to eliminate one of the top three little organizations that exist. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Like this. I know Republicans. They're pro. Small government. Lower taxes. But you're trying to get rid of the people who collect the taxes. Hey, I can't wait. I haven't done any research on it because I've been wanting to talk about it on some type of episode, either this or Wealth Wednesday. But
that Monique gift where she's like, I would like to see it. I'd like to see it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, but all that to say is if y'all get the forgiveness as soon as possible, which would be late now because you thought you're gonna get it, January 1st. If y'all get it February 28th, your student loan payment is gonna start back up in 60 days. Like, I just want to be very, very clear. Now, again, one of the reasons I think student loans are gonna start back up now this time, I keep saying that, right? This is the one thing I've been wrong about with the student loans. It's the one thing because I think
this is the time, Cory.
This is it. But like this, I'm like the weatherman or economist who always say it's gonna be a depression. I'm gonna keep saying they're gonna start back up, and eventually I'll be right.
Right.
But, no, the one time the reason I think this is different is because of the language and the verbiage. As far as it's whenever the court case ends, 60 days after. Like, that's never been the case. It's always been they're going to start on this day or we'll push it back. Now they have a different verbiage this time. Now, again, as y'all know, they keep pushing it back. I will not be surprised if they push it back again. With a bad thing and the good thing is that the court case, I can't remember how long the abortion court case was, but I believe Republicans have been trying to get abortion overturned since they passed it, and Roe v. Wade was like in the 70s. But in short, if that's 50 years. So I'm not, this takes 50 years.
You could have just paid the loans off, y'all. You could have just paid them off.
The public student loan forgiveness is only 10 years.
Listen.
So yeah, I believe the situation can occur where y'all student loan payments can start back up and they'll still be adjudicating the case in the Supreme Court. So there's a lot of stuff going around. If we get to next year and they're still deliberating the court case, just go ahead and pay them off. I mean, you'll be like, also, okay. You have anything else? Sorry, I'm about because I know we need to transition. But
no, we good. I'm listening. No, we right now. Go for it. Because
I know. You know me. We talk about this the whole episode. So
listen, I just know whenever they decide to wrap it up, they need to run me my money. That's all I'm saying. We get another pushback without no bread. I'm be like,
hey, fair use. But I was watching the Dave Ramsey highlight show channel on YouTube yesterday, and they had a student loan situation where they paid off, husband and wife paid off their student loans, right? It's $48,000. They paid them off. Right. Then, this forgiveness popped up, whatever. The wife found out she qualified for the $20K in forgiveness. So it's Pell Grant situation. So she applied for, she submitted her application, whatever the process she did. I don't know what she did, because the husband is talking. Anyways, long story short, the $40K she paid off, her loan provider, guess what they did? They put the $48K back on the books.
Did they really?
And send her a check for $48,000.
Wow.
And this is one of the things, like, this is just what I heard. I don't know if this is true or not true because I ain't seen with my own two eyes. I want to be very, very, very clear. If you have already paid off your student loans, good. You just let it be. Because if you think it's going to already be a mess when they start your payments back up, and that's already going to be a mess. Yeah. If you paid it off, and then because I don't know how they're going to calculate how to get your money back if you got $0 on the books, right? I can't forgive something that you don't have.
Right.
Man, look, because if that is like a couple 100,000 people, that's a problem. Because then what happens is, imagine that $40K right gets back on the books. Unfortunately, it's forbearance right now, right, and no interest. But never mind.
Yeah. It's gonna get real messy. You already just thinking about it. It's gonna get real messy.
And that's our recommendation is for those of you in a situation where you have the money saved up to pay off your student loans, regardless of which way it goes. If it does get forgiven, make sure that you pay off everything up to whatever you're going to get forgiven, because you want to make sure when they forgive, the balance is whatever the maximum you're going to get, your 10K or 20K or whatever it is. You don't want to owe 30K and then wait till they forgive your 10K, then put the 20K on it. I would not recommend doing that, because now you're in a situation where your payments, interest, that type of stuff. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's This is not going to go smoothly if it happens. It's why I want it to happen, so y'all can so y'all can see how bad it's going to be. I know a lot of my a lot of my clients are going to benefit. Well, I mean, everyone who has student loan debt will benefit from it, right? In the general sense, right? 10K, 20K less, but it's like it's not as simple as y'all think. Never mind. We've already talked about this before. We already said this before. But like, who's running this database update?
Hey, somebody gonna be employed, and that's also why I'm for it. Some tech person like us, all right, is gonna be back there. You know what I mean? But getting a bag for trying to pour water on a forest fire. But it's okay. I'm gonna let him collect his check, and I want my 10K. Because I want my 10K. Exactly. I want my 10K. You know why? Because I only got 1 foot in the pool. So as soon as they give me my 10, I'm pulling my foot out and I'm to dry off and go home and let everything else go to shit. But
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's like when the FAA went down. Remember the airplane issue FAA had a couple weeks ago? No,
I don't. I'm not. Listen.
The entire FAA system went down in the United States and Canada.
Is that what happened? Oh, I know what you're talking about now. That was when nobody could get a flight, right?
Mm-hmm. And the word is that one person caused it to happen. Now you and I know that's not possible, but the word is one person made the whole thing happen.
Now they could have set off a chain reaction that caused that to happen.
But like this, if you need outside of when President Trump actually made the alarm system go off for Hawaii, outside of that, they're talking about like a regular person like you and me. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not no one person. This is the most highest up person. You know what I mean? It's not no.
it was the person.
Yeah, it was the person.
One person was the person.
Yeah. The only other way it's a chain is if a whole bunch of people had to put in their pass. You know what I mean? Like if you tell them you shut down if you turn everything off.
Turned off the network. I mean, if it's the network, right? And you turn off the net. I mean, okay, all right. We know how stuff works. I mean,
U.S. and Canada. To put it like this, that's not a federal offense. That's a global. This is Geneva Convention.
Borderline terrorist attack.
I don't know if we can say that on YouTube, but that's I'm just saying. But I'm just saying, like, that's what that is. It's different when you cross state lines. If you cross country borders,
guys,
you go to Guantanamo Bay. You can't do that. That's not like an accident. That's like it's like there's not no one person. They did this, and then and I mean they, not they as in one person. This had to be some type of coordination on this. But all that to say, shout out to the federal government. Shout out to the fact we don't get into this the IRS getting rid of possibly by that. That's gonna be good. But if you have anything else, Jordan, you know what we gotta do. We gotta transition to the fitness section.
All right, you locked and loaded.
All right, on to the. That's my strap. On to the
fitness section.
Let's go.
Hey. I was like, I had to turn that down. So I was like, my baby next door. Look at that. I'm about to get yelled at by somebody, whether it's him or my lovely wife. But either way, somebody about to be mad. All right, anyways, babe.
How about this? I was gonna say that one got a bop. I know you want the other one, but that one got a bop. Dun, 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 dun. The other one is more like a transition between a fight scene and a video game, but that's like the actual fight music.
You like that one more? I like that. The other one kind of got more of it's like a new age modern vibe. You know what I'm saying? You can bop to a little bit too. I don't know. Either way. I like DBZ, so it really don't matter. You know what I'm saying?
But like this, I don't believe in limitations. You can have them both on there. You can switch in between. You can play them both. You know me, like play them both, Jordan. You know what I mean?
We got a different one every episode. No, he's not.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But all right. First fitness question. You guys can already see it going across the bottom of the screen. Are there various styles of running? If there are, what is the proper running technique? And how does your running style impact your run?
Okay. You got them stacked up today. All right.
Jordan said, okay. He about to hey, shout out to FinallyFit.live and Jordan's Dreams and Nightmares intro.
Listen.
I thought he was about to spit on there. I used to pray for times like this.
Like I had to get people hype. It's provocative. It gets the people going. Let me stop.
Oh my goodness. All right, but yeah, okay. Running styles. What does those look like?
So, okay. First of all, let me recap the question. Are there various styles of running? Let's just get to it. Yes. So it's yes and no. I know those are contradictory statements. It depends on who you ask, right? So it's kind of a little bit of controversy when it comes to running styles. Like, first of all, is it a thing? You know what I mean? And then if it is, are there multiple forms of running styles, or is it just is there a right and a wrong, you know what I mean, way to run, basically? The problem is neither side has enough data to really prove the other one wrong. You know what I mean? So they're both just kind of right, if that makes sense. That's what we go with in terms of on the fitness side. So yes, there are various styles of running. And me personally, that's what I believe. I've been doing enough running this year to know that, I mean, if you can run a whole bunch of different ways and they give you different results. So by definition, you know what I mean, there has to be multiple styles of running. In terms of what we're talking about today, a running style is a visually distinguishable movement pattern of a runner. Okay, so that's what we're going with for a running style. So you tell me, Cory, when you run, I mean, what is your particular running style? What happens? Just let me walk me through what your body does a little bit. I mean, I know your feet move, but like I know you about to. I already know you about to give me the like. What you I'm about to say something wild. Oh man!
Left foot forward, put your left foot forward, put your right foot back, you shake it. What is that? Hokey poke. I mean, now let me say this. Now that I'm just trying to live as long as possible, and I'm not trying to be a professional athlete.
Right
now, my running style is more of a jog because I'm not doing a full sprint. I don't do full sprints anymore.
Okay.
So now it's more of a jog, and I'm just doing a jog because now my body be hurting, my knees, my ankles, this type of stuff. It hurts now. It hurts now when I run. I have to be mindful of it. And now but as far as like full blown like sprint running,
right.
tippy toes. Don't let your heel hit, and you got to push all that force through your tippy toes. There's always a debate of open hand versus closed fist on which one of those is faster.
Okay.
Look, shout out to Rundle High School. I didn't run. Look, put it like this. I didn't run track. The reason I'm here is because I didn't run track. Let's be very clear, because I went there for college. But I might have still went to Bowie because the track team was good there.
Gotcha.
What's it called? If open hand makes you more aerodynamic, right? Because your hand's thinner. But then again, do you have more power when you're out? You know what I mean? Like there's a debate of that. And then if you're doing from like a start, right? Starting the forms and things like that. But yeah, if you're running full sprints, definitely stay on your tippy toes. If you're just doing, not a full sprint, the jogging type of long distance running, then you're just trying to keep your form, keep your back straight as possible, things like that. If you're running outside, be mindful, don't get hit by a car. So bumpy running style. Please be aware of the traffic conditions. Yeah, things like that. Yeah,
I would definitely say one thing that I've learned just going off piggybacking off the running outside comment. I run with one headphone in now. Because you got to be aware, right? And the headphones now are so immersive. You know what I mean? They got the the spatial audio and stuff like that. So it's like, for people who don't know, before that, right? Headphones actually had it's the same track, but it's almost like it divided the audio in half, right? So you could actually before that, if you had the left headphone in, you might hear like the chorus, like like the what am I trying to say? The person who's highlighted in the song, right, and not necessarily the beat. And then on the right side, you would actually hear like the beat, the background music, right? Like that's how audio usually is broken up, before the spatial audio thing happened. Now you could use some, the Gen 3 earpods or any just like the newer headphones in general. You'll hear the same thing, regardless of whether you have a left or right in. So it's almost like it's like IMAX for your ears. You know what I'm saying? So it's 360, all the track, all of it, all the time. So while that's nice from a listening perspective, it can actually be really dangerous because it'll drop you in. You literally won't be able to hear anything in terms of what's outside your headphones. So I highly encourage you to run. If you're not gonna run with low volume, at least run with a single headphone in, so you can be aware of your surroundings. That's what you don't want to do, is end up a hood ornament. All right, don't be on the front.
What'd you say? What did you say?
I said you don't want to end up a hood ornament. You don't want to be on somebody's, in the front of somebody's hood. You just be out there like, splattered on the front with the,
But like this, you don't want to end up on Twitter, because best believe the comment. You don't want to be internet famous for the wrong reason.
Have you on there like he needs some milk? Okay, because you got splattered. Okay, so
oh my goodness. I don't even wear. I didn't call me crazy. I'm a serial killer. I don't wear headphones when I go outside. When I'm inside the treadmill, I do, but outside I don't do that. And that's the main reason. That's the main reason. I don't trust nobody.
So you don't like no music at all? You just out here listening to the pitter patter of your feet for however many minutes?
Here's one thing. I'm a little crazy, so I think a lot. So I be
now, I'm in a meditative state on this. So running is relaxing. I mean, it's the time to do it if you're gonna do it. But
if I'm walking, I'll have headphones in. But when I'm running, I don't have any headphones in. So if I go out and I'm walking just instead of running for my cardio, I'll have headphones in. But when I'm running, I like. Because I rather when I'm working out and stuff, I listen to like YouTube and things like that. I don't like listen to music. So I know I'm crazy, but so I know. let me stop. Go ahead. I'll get it back.
Listen.
He's trying to understand. He's like, what? Music helps your heart rate.
It does. Yeah, helps you maintain stride. Helps you. You know what I'm saying? It's like no. For me personally, I cannot stand hearing the sound of my own feet. I know that sounds wild. Like I like hearing that the back and forth. You know what I mean? Like no, that irritates me. And I know you're like, Jordan, you got one headphone in. I know, but I turned that one headphone all the way up. You know what I'm saying? So at least I'm focused on that, literally. But so I got situational awareness on the side that I don't have the headphone in. But when I do that in, I'm blasting because I do not like hearing the sound of my own feet. I know it sounds weird. Me doing as much running as I'm doing, but. Okay, so thank you for describing your running style. I appreciate that. Like I said, a little bit about running. I said you be out here in these streets.
I used to run semi decent fast.
Listen,
that's all I
semi decent fast.
I mean, I'm not professional athletes. You know what I mean?
I'm just messing with you, Brad. Look at it.
Right. Probably always.
Yeah.
Definitely maybe.
Okay, yeah. So you touched on a lot of good things. There are, I think, regardless of which style is implemented, right? I think there is a proper technique that comes with running, and an improper technique, right? One of the things I saw that you pointed out was definitely like the open hand versus closed hand. One of the things I do know. So we're getting into. We've answered them. Just make sure we recap. So are there various styles of running? Yes. What is the proper technique? So that's what we're on right now, right? Proper technique for running. I think you want to be as in a relaxed state as possible, which is wild because you're like, how you gonna be in a relaxed state? You exercise, and those are contradictory, like statuses. Not really. You can. So just what you were saying, right? Like how you're not listening to music, but you're in almost like not a meditative state, but a learning state while running, right? That's that probably puts your body in a relaxed state. You know what I'm saying? So just kind of trying to tie it all together from the mental to the physical aspect of it, right? What I think what they're trying to get out of that, right, is your body being in a relaxed state is you can endure more longer. You know what I mean? So again, when we're talking about running, we're talking about, at least in this instance, we're talking about jogging, not necessarily sprinting, because sprinting is a whole different ball game because you're trying to get from point A to point B in the most efficient way possible, as fast as possible, right? That's usually what you're doing when you're sprinting. We're talking about jogging. So, miles, right? Getting some miles in, and, minimum of a mile going into, marathon status, right? Not saying that you're going to be out here in 26, but yeah, getting some distance in. So you definitely want to keep your body as much of a relaxed state as possible. You want to keep your posture tall, right? So you have your shoulders back in a more relaxed state. A lot of us when we run, I feel like we tend to hunch over a lot. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where I think it happens innately. It's also because people have poor posture in general, right? So what you don't know is you do what you've been doing, right? You're not just going to get out inside and start doing something that you haven't been accustomed to doing your entire life. Most of us are slouching over and chairs. Some people listen to this podcast slouching over right now. Sit up, stand up. Look at weak in the knees. Stand up. Anyways, look.
We have that.
We don't right now.
No, right. Okay, I'm about to say, okay.
Yeah. We did, but we don't right now. I got you. Yeah, somebody slouched up right now. So, you want to stay in a relaxed state, but you do want to have tall posture, right? Shoulders back, more relaxed. When you are running, your arm swing is important. So you do want to pump those arms, get those things going. You do want to keep them in a relaxed state. So whatever relaxed is for you, ultimately, I think that's what you should stick with. So I've seen some people do the closed fist. I've seen some people do the open fist or the open hand. I think the open hand is more aerodynamic in terms of slicing wind, which is why they tell you to do it. But if your relaxed state is a closed fist, go for it. Now, I think those are contradictory of each other because it's like how you relax if your fist is closed because you're now literally exerting energy to keep to keep your hands together, right? But at the same time, if that's what works for you, ultimately, what you have to realize is your running style might not necessarily be proper technique, but you have to do what's best for you to optimize performance and minimize impact while sustaining, making a sustainable recovery, right? So while there is a proper technique, there's also a technique that works best for you. And some of those, it's a picture of Venn diagram, right? So some of those things overlay and some of them don't. So, because I can definitely tell you, I'm 3 years in as a trainer. I've been running my entire life. You know what I mean? Definitely been putting in more miles lately in the past 2 years than I think I ever have. And I can tell you there, even me knowing what proper technique is for running, there are certain things that I do that I know are like, okay, they're not necessarily the best, but they work for me. You know what I mean? Perfect example, I am the closed fist runner, right? It's natural for me to just kind of literally, kind of just put the thumbs on the outside, we just relaxing with it. But I'm not like necessarily squeezing, I'm not like flexing or anything. And the closed fist for me kind of helps me get through it from an endurance standpoint. You know what I mean? Now, is that proper running technique? No, but that's what works for Jordan. And Jordan be out here putting these 2.5 in every day. Whoever's making up these proper running techniques ain't out there running with me. So that being the case, you ultimately got to do what works for you. Another thing that I know is actually important, but a lot of people don't do, is engaging your core while running. So if you don't know, your core is important to use while you do anything involving exercise, cardio, strength training in general. You can't do anything without your core. You can't do anything without your lower body. Let me know what exercise thing. If you think of one, and I'm challenging anybody for real. If you can think of an exercise where you don't use your legs or your core, let me know. And it's involved. And I guarantee when you start, you can be like, oh, like bench press. No, there's leg drive and bench press. You know what I mean? If you think of an exercise where you don't have to use your core and your legs, let me know.
I'm about to say, people lift. I mean, we can discuss what is in a valid bench. They will lift their hips off the bench in a heartbeat to get that rep done. Now I was told that don't count, but then you're gonna do the rep, you can do it, but I also don't count. But at the end of the day,
it depends. So it depends on who's counting.
Who's counting?
Yeah. What I actually learned is a proper bench actually does involve a lot of leg drop. And as long as so if you were in a powerlifting competition, as long as the top arch of your back is, flat to the bench, it counts as a push. You know what I'm saying? So I know what you're saying. Like I think we all kind of grew up. I mean, we all grew up in the same era. Let's be very clear. And we all had more or less the same coach, right? I mean, they was all variations. There's variations, but they all was saying the same shit. Okay,
yeah, so your hips could not come off the bench. And plus, that's how I bench. Like that's how ingrained it is in me. Like your hips don't.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not about, it does give you an extra. I mean, physics, but it gives you extra force. Now, if you about to, not make it, then go ahead and take your hips off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta get back up.
If you don't got no spot, but yeah.
Believe it or not, that's a part of the setup though. Like lifting, putting the arch in your back. Your hips should technically still be on the bench, right? Mm-hmm. But your back should be arched. So there should basically be a C in between.
Yeah, yeah, and arching your back. Yeah, arching your back is good. But some people they just like they button their hips just like they're doing the
completely off.
They're doing the glute bridges.
Got you.
They glute bridging.
Look, use the exercises. Look, you out here today. All right,
hey, look, man. Look.
Hold on. Look.
I was gonna say real quick because one thing is I try not to say people is dumb, but a lot of people don't know anything, and especially now, as if you meet anybody who's anyone born in 2000 beyond, they don't teach them nothing in school. And so Jordan mentioned the Venn diagram. Some people gonna listen to them. They don't know the hell the Venn diagram.
Oh no! I did make an assumption that people knew.
So I try not to be disrespectful, but it's just a case. Like I just want to let people know what it is. Let me see if this will pull up better.
I should have described it. It's the two circles for people who are listening and not watching, right? It's the two circles. So you got a circle on the left and a circle on the right, and there's an overlapping portion. Yeah. That is the Venn diagram, ladies.
This is a Venn diagram. So you see on this left side, it's the animals, right? And it's like yellowish. Then on the right side, it's plants and it's greenish. And it's a Venn diagram. When these two circles intersect, there's something they both have in common. So in short, your mom's on the left, your dad's on the right, and then they came together and they made you. Okay. And so you should, because this like this is animals and plants. This is terrible. I'm talking about stuff y'all don't know. Nuclear cell membrane, cytoplasm, mitochondria. Look, now we're talking about y'all past biology. All right, but if you didn't know what a Venn diagram is, that's not to be disrespectful, but I just be listening to people and they talking about, we learned this in school. What do you mean you didn't learn this in school?
What you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
Venn diagrams was in that beginning, I feel like I had a math that was literally just like chart based. You know what I'm trying to say? And it's like I feel Venn diagrams are like we're in there. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you know me, I'm a jerk. I used to tell people all the time I've been smarter than them since I was in middle school. Like if you took my middle school self compared to you, like I was probably smarter than you in middle school. Now I'm like actually confident. Like now I'm actually confident that was the case because people say no.
It's a reason why joking. It's the reason why there's a show called "Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?" and the people be losing. Like you're trying to say, like,
well, that show's hard as hell though. The second you transition to geography or history, it's not a grade thing because it's like, I mean, I don't know. Now, some of the math stuff is like, I don't know if this is fifth grade math. As someone who was always in, I didn't take some math classes. I didn't take some math classes. I'm like, I don't know if I learned this in elementary school. Like once you get past fractions, I think you in middle school. Like you start, you add in the anything that's not a t, which is the plus symbol, or an x, which is the, but like you start adding in x's and a variable, y equals x plus b. That's middle school. So some of the questions like.
I think they had to. The title doesn't necessarily reflect the you know what I mean, the level of difficulty, right? Because I think aren't they giving away $1 million? I mean, some of them joints gonna be middle school questions. You know what I'm saying? So like,
it was one of the as far as like how good of a game show is it versus like how well if you can win or not. It was one of the shows like entertaining to watch and you definitely have a shot at it. But the second, like, don't pick geography or history. Because it's not a
rap. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. They asked you about some country in Southeast Pacific. It's like the Southeast. Yeah, it's like what? It's like I don't know. Oh my goodness! But all that to say, in case you didn't know what a Venn diagram is, it was what it was. So I showed you again for those who listen to podcast platforms. You have one circle which has some things. You have another circle which has some things. Where those circles intersect and they have similarities, that is what a Venn diagram looks like from a visual standpoint. So I didn't want to just make sure people know in case they didn't.
I appreciate the clarity, Corey. I just be, assuming people out here got basic skill. Let me stop.
Yeah.
Look at that. Let me not
hey, go play Tekashi.
Look at that. Look. Stupid. All right.
Hey, no disrespect. No disrespect. I'm just saying though.
Slight disrespect. If you want
slight disrespect.
All right. Bringing it back. So we talking about proper technique. So we talked about the tall, relaxed posture. You want to engage your core. Oh, we're talking about core. Core is important. So you got to use your core when you run. You got to use your core when you do anything, first of all, not just when you run, but it's definitely important when you run because it keeps your structure, your form tight while you're executing, right? So that's the whole point of engaging your core. So I know I said we're supposed to stay tall. You are actually supposed to be on a slight lean, but not as much lean as people do when they're sitting in their chairs, right? I'm not talking about slumped over. If you had to put a degree on it, we talking about like a 10 degree, 10 degree tilt for it, right? So still taller, not tall enough where, you know what I'm saying? I want you're arching your back like you're about to, they tell you put your seat in your back when you're about to hit the squat. You know what I mean? You're not talking about a full out arch, but you should be hitting at least a 10 degree, lean forward, but enough where you can engage those abdominal muscles while you're running. All right. Strong core allows for bigger strides with more gait. For people who don't know what gait is, because I'm about to get into it, we're not talking about G-A-T-E, G-A-I-T. All right, running gait is the cycle a leg travels through during one step when running. All right, so gait is what makes up your stride. Tracking. So multiple gaits, basically. So think of it, a gait is like when one leg comes from the back to the front, that's a gait, right? So it's like measurement of stride, and then however often that gait occurs is what defines stride. Tracking? We get that? Okay. Let me know if that makes sense, Corey.
It's the first time I've ever heard. First time I've ever heard it. So
okay.
This the last minute is all I got.
Gotcha. It's like, so think of gait as a single. Gait is the measurement of stride, right? So multiple gaits, or how often your gait occurs, determines what your stride looks like. Okay. Literally bringing one leg from the back to the front. Saying all to say, engage your core because it's important. That's the bottom line up front. You need to use your core so you can increase your gait. And I mean, that's not the only thing that affects gait, but it is what's necessary to kind of get that thing going, right? Because ultimately what stride is how make sure I say it right. Stride is how far you go. Let me see. How far you go with multiple gaits. Let me just put it that way. Because I'm going to use the terminology that we've been using. Other things that affect your stride. How far you bring your knees up when you run. A lot of us when we run, and this is a bad habit that I had that I'm trying to break. A lot of us when we run, you don't pick your knees up far enough. You should be bringing your knees. So high knees you don't do high knees just for, just for warm-ups and exercise. High knees is actually a part of your proper technique of distance running, right? You should bring your knee up when pushing off, because ultimately what that does is the higher you have your knee up during your stride, the more ground you cover, before you're, the next foot hits the ground, the more space you cover. That means it's science, right?
It's physics. It's physics.
Thank you.
This is why you should, if you want to know any science, it's physics in chemistry. So you don't blow yourself up. But like, yes, the higher something goes, the more just gravity, the more force you have coming down, and then that. Never mind. But force equals mass times accelerate. Okay.
Yeah, they not.
You know what I mean? Like
they don't know what the Venn diagram is.
Yeah.
I'm messing with.
All right. I was gonna say real quick though. You was talking about it. You was talking about the degrees. Just in case y'all didn't know what the degrees were talking about when he said 10 degrees. Okay, I got the protractor up here for you. When I told y'all the last thing you wanted was for me to be able to share the screen, I swear to God. So 90 degrees is a straight line, straight up. 10 degrees where that 80 is at, because 90 minus 10 is 80. So that's a 10-degree delta. Okay, so it's a slight bend. Okay, I'm gonna give it back. I just want to make sure. I told y'all that I can share the screen. I'm gonna give y'all. I'm gonna make sure y'all know. Okay, we're not gonna be like, what's the degree? What's the 10? I didn't know what the 10 degree was. I'm running, Jordan. All right, show y'all protractor. Y'all see just a little bit. It's just straight. That's 90. A teeny bit. That's gonna be 80. Okay, 10 degree.
Slightly.
All right, but you talking about. Okay.
You don't want to be on your Billie Jean out here. That's too far. Bring it back
up.
Oh
my goodness. Okay.
All right.
But you're talking about the gait, the cycle, and then how raising your knee higher when you're running.
Yes. So Corey brought up the physics. So yes, force does equal mass times acceleration. Bringing that knee up allows you to stride further. Okay. So literally, you're picking your legs up and putting them down further per gait, which directly affects your stride. Right. If your knee is up higher, you're bringing it down with more force. You're able to propel yourself forward more per gait, which means you're having a longer stride. So that is a crucial portion to running, and it's something that's hard to do, especially if you're naturally just. So I'm what you call I propel in shorter strides. You know what I'm trying to say? So I have a pretty strong lower body. I push, and I won't say I haven't, but I haven't perfected. I haven't unconsciously perfected the ability to bring my knees up while running, right? I have to focus on it. I have to think about it. It's something that has to cross my mind, and I'll catch myself doing it like mid-run. And it's like, okay, I try to correct it. But ultimately, to see the results or see the time difference, right, it's got to be something that's consistent and continuous throughout your run. For those who don't know, all the little things start to add up. They matter. But in order to make a difference, you actually have to be continuous and consistent with them throughout the run, right? Like I can't pick my knees. If I'm running 2 miles, right? For me, I mean, my average pace right now is 8:30, 9 minute. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm also, anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's what I'm running right now. Okay. So 8:30, 9 minute mile. But that's also with me kind of just being comfortable while running, right? I'm not really being conscious about the movement. I'm moving. You know what I mean? I'm out here, I'm running. I am trying to get the best time possible. So I am pushing myself, but at the same time, I'm not necessarily overanalyzing my technique. If I was really out here pushing it, picking my knees up, you know what I mean, per every gait, maximizing stride, breath control, making sure that my hands I was in a relaxed state, hands open versus closed. Again, remember I was telling you about proper technique versus what I think works for me. If you try to push yourself out of your comfort zone and go more towards the proper technique versus what you're used to, you'll definitely start seeing more difference, not only in the results, but the time, right? The fastest mile I think I've run when really being conscious about my stride, my knee drive, etc. I was in the 7s. You know what I'm trying to say? So 7 versus 9. I mean, that's a 2-minute difference. You know what I mean? In mileage, just based off of, acute or fine tuning small details, right? So I don't have to say it does make a difference, even if you're not seeing it right away. Consistency with anything is the key with anything when it comes to exercise, but particularly with cardio, because if you really want to see the gains from it, right? Not only do you have to do it more frequently, but you have to be conscious about all the minute things. So saying all that, reviewing tall posture, being relaxed, engage your core, slight lean, 10 degrees, as Corey stated. All right, so we had 80. All right, engage your core, picking those knees up. Last thing, a mid-foot strike, right? Not last, but second to last. So we're going to talk about them both at the same time. Mid-foot strike, right? So for people who don't know, you can strike the ground with different parts of your feet, right? Depending on which part that you use, there's more or less impact to your joints, and there's more force generated. And it affects, again, everything we're talking about physically. Again, everything that you do from the I mean, not even just the waist down, your entire body, but particularly from the waist down affects your stride, right? So if you're hitting the ground with your heel every time you're running, you're actually, I mean, just think about it from a physics standpoint, right? If you are putting you're bringing your right foot forward, and the first thing that hits the ground is your heel. First of all that energy that you use to propel yourself forward has automatically hit your heel, traveled up your shin, got into your knee, and that's the first joint that well, not the first joint it impacts. It technically hits your ankle first, but that's your knee is the first, big joint that it impacts. You have now slowed yourself down, right? You're stopping your forward momentum by putting your heel first instead of hitting with your mid strike. I know I'm doing hand motions like people can see me. Anyways, hitting mid strike, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Corey.
No, I was gonna say this is why I love physics so much. But in short, when you're running, right, there's as the 10 degree, but you're going forward, and there's just in short, there's all the force is being pushed or being propelled that way. When you're using your heels to stop, like you see in Scooby-Doo, right, when they stop, or Flintstones, they stop with their heels, because to stop with your heels, you have to lean. I know I'm leaning back away from the mic, but you lean back, and so you're transitioning that force now away to actually slow yourself down. So that's all what that is.
Yeah. So let's bring it. So the reason why that matters, right? The ideal run is to propel yourself forward and keep as much momentum going as you're switching back and forth as possible, right? So what they call that is a bounce, right? You want to bounce or glide while running, okay? So the stride or gait that you have to take to transition or even speed up your momentum going forward with little to no impact to your joints is the ideal gait or stride, okay? So that's why mid-strike foot is important. So for people who don't know, not your heel, the portion in between your heel and your toes, that's the mid portion of your foot, okay? So you want to, listen, I got to point it out. We talk about anatomy now. We didn't cover all the stems today. We talk about anatomy. The portion between your heel and your toes is mid-strike. You ideally, when you're running and walk through a step, so you can put your foot on the ground and kind of walk through it. Ideally, you want the middle portion of your foot to hit first, and then transition to the toe, and then use your toes to propel forward. You see what I'm saying? So it should literally tap the ground mid-strike. You kind of want to bend your knees as you bounce. So per gait, right? So again, a gait is a leg swing through, right? Per gait, you want to use your knees and kind of bend your legs a little bit as you're doing your mid-strike, because you want to absorb some of that blow as you propel and push forward. Again, the thing you want to do is not stop. The ideal stride is to propel yourself as far as you can with the least impact to your joints. And how do you least impact your joints? You actually absorb the blow when you're coming down versus putting your heel down and trying to lock out and naturally slowing yourself down. So all those things, again, minute details play into proper running technique. We're going to wrap it up with how does style impact your run? Ultimately, we've been explaining that throughout the entire question. Your style affects performance. You want to run faster, you got to run correct. If you want to run longer, you got to run correct, right? You have to pay attention to the details. The details matter. If you're, I'm assuming that if you're running distance already, you want to get better at it, right? You're not just out here to be out here. You want to be out here to make progress, not only on yourself, but on your cardio. So fine tuning these details and paying attention to your particular style and what is necessarily proper technique, and trying to not even find the best of the two, but transition your style to proper technique is the best way to go, right? You want to fine tune that so you can get the best results out of your cardio. So that is why you need to know the proper style of running, but also start to transition your own personal style closer to what is necessary to get you the best results. I think that's it. Cory.
So you gotta give yourself a round of applause.
Oh, okay. We clap.
Yes, I was also gonna say height is also a big factor as well in your running style. And again, physics. It's just gonna take your entire process to longer.
Oh, you've been even talking about that. Height, weight. All those things play.
Yeah,
if you're heavier, you need more force to propel that mass, right? See, people don't know how the physics work.
But this is when we talk about speed versus acceleration or quickness, stuff like that. And it's like, the taller you are, by definition, the longer it's going to take your body parts to move, because they're just bigger. And so that's why generally, not all the times, but generally shorter people are quicker. Maybe not like faster top end speed, but quicker, because they're just able to get started faster. For those of you know sports, you know all about this stuff.
Yeah, and then it depends on what you're running and what you know what I'm saying.
What you're doing for,
details,
yes,
right?
yeah, the activity.
Because I one of my my best childhood friends. Shout out to Jared. One of my best childhood friends is 6'7", right? So his stride is longer than mine, but I think my acceleration is quicker than his. So
you start faster. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So it really depends on, we race all the time. You know what I mean? Like I said. So it really just depends on what we're running and what the goal is, right? You know what I mean? So we're trying to get to point A to point B quicker, you know what I mean? Or are we trying to run miles? Because you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's why the sport, and that's why like when you see, taller, quote unquote, I mean, weight is, obviously the more you weigh, it's just, just like a car, right? But in short, like you see even if a taller person like a Julio Jones or a Calvin Johnson, they have these very low 40 times, which means they're extremely fast or quick, however you want to judge that. In the game, it's different because it actually takes them longer to get to that top speed. And that's why they're able to get, hawk down and things like that. Because I remember in high school, I was the fastest person on the team, but if we ran 100, when everybody, I'm out to get, in football's terms, like I got everybody because it's just, it stuff's a lot faster. But we started running, we did a 100-yard dash, and it was just like, I don't know who finished first. I'm running, by the way, with everybody. But you can tell when you look back and it's like I think we was all together.
Yeah.
But in that, like in the first 50, 60, I pretty much got everybody because my 40 faster than everybody. So by definition, I'm gonna have you in the first half. But as you get towards the end, and that's why when you start playing games, it's like, this person's fast. Like, like I'm faster than them, but don't let them get going because you're not gonna catch them. It's gonna be like trying to catch me. So that's one of the things too. If you're on the taller side, basketball, you're saying Jared played, where you see somebody like LeBron, like hawk somebody down, like LeBron is like, it's insane because of how much he weighs and how tall he is. And obviously he's able to cover ground faster because his strides are longer by definition. You have that great, but that type of stuff is something to pay attention to. If you're on the taller side, you might not be quick, quote unquote. You might be quick. You just freaking 6'5". Like, I mean, you're not gonna, I'm 5'7". You're probably not gonna be as quick as me. That's not really how it works.
Scariest thing I think from an athletic perspective, like you said, is seeing a tall person that generates speed quickly. Right? If you accelerate and you got the stride, you're forced to be reckoned with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the mile. That's the crazy deepest alignment, a miles gear or something like that, where it's like this is 285 pounds, and they just
and you'll start look like mine. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's called number 1 overall pick. Like, you know what I mean? So
man,
that's the stuff. But so if you're one of those people where you have the height and weight crazy combination, but you also have the quickness to back it up, not just the full, top end long distance speed, then you're what we call freak of nature. So you're in that Calvin Johnson scenario where you run a 4.3, but you're 6'5", 245.
Right.
Right. Chris Johnson ran a 4.2, but he's like 6 foot, 200. You know what I mean? Like that.
That's what I'm saying. It's expected, right? You know what I mean?
So but all that to say, we're good. All right, locked and loaded. On to the my bad. On to the
finance
section.
Let's work. This is a lot slower.
You still manually pressing it, right?
I am.
I can hear the little click in the back. I can't remember if it was 2. I'm going to go back and watch. I can't remember if it was 2 times or 3 times. I feel like it was 2. It's 3. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's like that half second in between. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot more smoother when you got the other one. I gotta fix it. Right? I keep saying
you're good. But all right. So this is gonna be like, when's the last time we've done an actual article on here? We haven't done it in a while. Also, my bad too. See, we're supposed to go as the like I have you right now when we're talking. I'll be forgetting that stuff. It's so much stuff I have to do, but it don't matter now because I'm about to share the tab. But go ahead. The first finance question.
First final. Let me switch over. Boom. Oh, we already talked about. Okay. First finance question. Will Republicans be able to get rid of the IRS? I want to know. Listen, this is going to be my question. Will the Republicans be able to get rid of the IRS, Corey?
I don't know. These are one of the things when you start and like it's like shout out to the internet. But when I heard this, I was like, what are y'all talking about? Because now it's getting to a point where it's like, okay, this sounds like y'all making it up. Like if there was ever a makeup thing, this is it. Do I need to refresh this? Maybe that's a video. It's not showing. Oh, here go the ads. Shout out to the street. Okay. So this is on the street. Also, too, I know you listen to Wealth Wednesdays, but for those of y'all who don't listen to Wealth Wednesdays, all the names I have to read for the authors of these articles, they're all hard as hell. Okay, I think I have one or two that have been just straightforward. So this is Jeffrey again. Here we go. I guess Quiggle. Like why nobody seems to have just a regular normal name, but this is Jeffrey Quiggle on January 12, 2023 for The Street. Republicans want to abolish the IRS. How that would hit your wallet?
I know.
Well, if there are no taxes, it would increase.
Jeffrey was definitely getting fried at school. His last name being Quiggle. All right, I'm done. I'm done. Continue.
Okay, quick side note. So we had a guy on my football team in high school. His last name was Countryman. And so when our coach is going through roll call to see who's here, he's just doing like a shortened version of your name. All right. And so he calls your last name. And so if you were a shortened Countryman, it comes out.
I got you.
It comes out the cunt. So guess what his nickname?
Bruh.
Oh no!
Swear to God.
Oh,
I swear to God. Shout out to I'm not gonna mention his first name.
Y'all call him that?
Coach called him that every day.
I mean, coaches are special people, yo. Shout out to our coaches, but like they don't. This is a special level of not giving a. You know what I'm saying? Like they really don't. Like they do, but they don't. You know what I'm trying to say?
We didn't get in trouble, but I mean, this is your teammate nickname. Like, so we would call him like outside of practice, like in school, and you can't say that in school, and so we had to be like, nah, yeah. Fortunately, it's probably your case, but most of our coaches were teachers at our school, so we're like, like this what
yeah.
This is what we call him all day in practice, like literally. Yeah. Oh my goodness! So just again, as if you don't know, you don't get to pick your nicknames. If you did pick it, it's not a nickname. So and I'm pretty sure I haven't seen him in over 10 years now. But my guess, I might just naturally call him that, and that would be bad if he has a wife. And you know what I mean, like that'd be bad. Call to walk up. No. Oh my goodness! All right though, but Jeffrey is saying no IRS would not mean no taxes, and the rich might actually end up paying more. No IRS would not mean. See, look at all these no's. No. What? No, not all.
I feel like there should be commas in it. So
no IRS would not mean no taxes, and the rich might actually end up paying more. I want to be very clear. I went to Bowie State University, got a bachelor's in computer science. I had to take 3 English classes.
I did too.
We are not. We're not the one.
I transferred in, and I still had to take some English classes.
I did skip English 99, remedial English that doesn't count towards your credits, but it does count towards your GPA. So I did skip that. But this is wrong. There's this Jordan mentioned. There's supposed to be a comment.
It's somewhere there. Somebody's supposed to take a breath.
Somebody messed up. I think this is saying even if the IRS does not exist, we will still have taxes.
Thank you for clarification.
Right. No IRS would not mean no tax. So that means not no, which means yes. We're coding. Right. Double negative. Yeah. I got you. That's and the rich might actually end up paying more. Okay. The interesting, by the way, to start out, look at God, these ads go away. Okay, here we go. White House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, was Republican for California, was captivating. Wow. So if a Republican from California is leading this, never mind. I'm not gonna break it down. California is super blue, but if a Republican from California is trying to get rid of taxes and California got the high, okay, this is just interesting. Was a captivating. I'm just saying. Like, you gotta look at these things sometimes. Speaking of, did you see Nancy Pelosi's husband got hit with a hammer?
I did see that. That's
my goodness. That
wild.
Was insanity. He's in his 80s, I believe. So, like, I believe that's attempted murder. You hit an 80-year-old with you try to injure an 80-year-old. You're trying to kill.
It's a hammer.
But an elderly person, they have a high chance of, not surviving. So, all right. Anyways, I just want to bring that up because we're talking about Californian representatives. Anyways, Speaker Kevin McCarthy was captivating a live audience with coverage of historically numerous votes for his new title. It was no secret he was making concessions to win votes from a small group of skeptical Republicans. This is what it would take to replace Rep. Nancy Pelosi, and McCarthy was up to the task. Okay, the group of representatives known as where are we getting at? Okay, among the concessions, there we go, was support for the longtime conservative pet aspiration to implement a plan known as the Fair Tax Act. The act, which is generally expected to be shot down, my goodness, great verbiage, by the Democratic Senate and White House was introduced in the House of Representatives on January 10th. My guess is that January 10th of 2023. It's worth, however, taking a look at the provisions of the bill. Most strikingly, the Fair Tax Act introduced by Buddy Carter, representative of Georgia, Republican of Georgia. Doesn't say if he's a senator or not. No, it's probably his nickname. We'll see. Put it like this.
Retriever, like what? Relax. Y'all never seen Air Bud? Anyways, go ahead.
Oh, his real name is Earl. I looked it up. Anyways, gotcha. Crap. Where did this ad come from? My goodness. Right, okay, here we go. Yeah, there we go. That happens all the time too. It just pops up. Anyways, would seek to abolish this act with Fair Tax Act. It's crazy how it's a Fair Tax Act. It would get rid of the IRS, and doing so, it replaced the federal income tax with the national consumption tax. Real quick, Jordan, press the FBI. Open up.
Gotcha.
FBI, open up.
If this was a beautiful world, that would say IRS, because that's what that is for. When we press that, I mean, now we just use it, but that is initially for the IRS because of, real quick, the 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles of the United States financial system. You got the Treasury, you got the Federal Reserve, you have the IRS, and you have the SEC, not the Southeastern Conference, because I'm talking about Buddy Carter saying. I'm talking about the Security and Exchange Commission. Those people are in charge of the stock market. So if you see Wolf of Wall Street, if the SEC show up and you do investing, somebody's going to prison. Okay, that's normally how that works. Okay, you don't want to see them. Just like if you doing something with taxes, you a CPA, and the IRS shows up, somebody's going to prison as well. But again, if you don't know, the IRS is a sub part of the Treasury. So the Treasury is actually above the IRS. That's why, if you remember when you got your stimulus checks, if you got them, you got it from the Treasury. Okay, that's why when it came.
Random interjection. I actually saw that movie and it's freaking awesome.
Oh, you finally watched it after me telling you for 10 years? I've been telling you since college.
Watch it, and I was like, dang, this is wild. Yeah, he has been telling me, just so y'all know, he has been telling me for a decade to watch that movie, and I had never seen it. And I finally saw Wolf of Wall Street, and I was like, it's definitely up there. Got to be like,
it's Leonardo. Yeah, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. You know what I mean? It's obviously amazing, but that movie's crazy. But
and the dude's name was Jordan. That just made it even. I was like, oh, anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, he's out of jail and everything too. Now he's on social. The real person he was based off of. So he's on social media and stuff doing his thing. But regardless, I'm saying all that to say is if they got rid of the Treasury, then the IRS be gone completely. But the IRS is just a subpart, and it's important to know how these things are set up. This is why when the student loan forgiveness came out, y'all had to tell them how much money y'all made, because the Department of Education was handling the forgiveness, not the Treasury. The Treasury already has your tax information because the IRS has it. So if the Treasury has it, by definition, the IRS has it, by definition, Treasury has it. So that's just something to understand when you see these different 3-letter agencies or government things on how things are set up. So in doing so it's saying it wouldn't get rid of it, right? Shout out to this headline, right? So it's not going to go away. All right, Jordan, until we figure it out, it's not going away. We're going to talk about a national consumption tax. Oh my goodness. Instead of adding 87,000 new agents to weaponize. Who said this quote? Weaponize IRS. Weaponize the IRS against small business owners and middle America. This bill will eliminate the need for the department entirely by simplifying the tax code with provisions that work for the American people and encourage growth and innovation, said Buddy Carter in a press release. So he said they're going to weaponize them.
I was about to say, they make them jokers sound like an evil, like a super villain. Like, this ain't Ultron, bro. It's the IRS. I mean,
I want to be very clear. If you have two options, IRS or the KGB, definitely choose the KGB. Do not owe the IRS money, because you won't be able to come back. If you leave the country and you owe taxes, you might not be able to get let back in, or they're going to arrest you when you come back. It's that bad.
It's on site. They got that forever smoke. Look at that.
Look, everything's tied together. It's like, I mean, if you owe the IRS money, in short, you owe the United States money. This is the only way they get money. This.
But
they don't have multiple
United States money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things. Like, how serious can you take it when everybody does it? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
The United States owes the United States money. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, now we get into the debt ceiling. We're not talking about the debt ceiling.
Okay, all right, my bad. I'm gonna keep it.
I gotta make a new thumbnail. I gotta change the title of the video. We pivoted, but no, all that to say, no, don't owe the IRS or the KGB money. That's a bad joke. I shouldn't say that. But anyways, though, the irony, the IRS / federal government, they make money with taxes, right? Okay. So if the people who collect taxes need more money, don't they got to go and they got to do their job better? Because they're talking about hiring 87,000 more people for the IRS, but they got to get that money essentially from the IRS doing a better job because y'all the ones who get the taxes anyway. Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
Oh my goodness. Like, where y'all gonna get this money from? You know, we need these 87,000 people to get more of the money to pay for the 87,000 people.
People, exactly. Chicken and the egg, brother.
Oh my goodness. All right, the effects of legislation are ripe for debate. A look into the details of the proposed legislation reveals stark, not like Tony, but stark divisions in perceptions of its potential effect on taxpayers. Bill will get rid of federal tax, all federal tax. It says all federal taxes, and institute. Whoa!
Wow.
I'm reading it and now I'm comprehending it. Okay, this is how it was for the student loan thing. I was reading stuff. I was like, wait, what? It says going to get rid of all federal taxes. So in short, my guess would be, as I talk about all the time, the 10, 12, 22, 32, 35, 10, 12, 22, 24, 32, 35, 37 brackets, the marginal tax rates. I guess it's going to get rid of all those and institute a 23% national retail sales tax.
Good Lord, y'all. So for those who don't know, so here in Maryland, okay, we pay 6 cents on the dollar for every purchase, right? So if you buy something and it is $1, you pay $1.06. That's how taxes work. They're talking about adding a 23% national retail sales tax. So same example, you spend $1, you now pay $1.23. Okay, not $1.06. All right, that's a lot. That's a lot. And that's
like this. If there was ever a time to have a financial somebody in your corner, this would be it. Because you're going to have to calculate this math. You got to show me this math. You're going to have to show. Supporters of the measure say that this is similar to a 15% income tax plus the 7.65%. They can get rid of the FICA stuff too. That is federal. Oh my goodness. They can get rid of Medicare and Medicaid too. It doesn't say. I'm just talking out loud now. But that's what the 7.65% is. By the way, your employer pays the other 7.65%, which is 15.3.
Gotcha.
So that's 15 plus 7, is 22%. That's 22.65, which is 23%, which is 23%. That's what they're saying. Is the number is the same. Not so fast. Say opponent. Rare. Not so fast. Obviously, according to the Institute of Tax. Yeah, like not. Institute of Taxation on Economic Policy. This calculation relies on some tricky math. I bet. If something costs $100, one would pay $30 in taxes. The Institute calculates to most people that works out to be a 30% tax, but it's called a 23% tax because $30 is 23% of the gross payment of $130. Okay, here we go. Okay, for those here we go. Okay.
Bring it back.
Hold on. Let me. Hold on. I'm gonna share my screen better so y'all can see the calculator when I do this real quick because I already know Jordan don't know what this.
Look, my face starts scrunching up too. I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Oh my goodness.
Because I just you saw me just do the math problem, right? I was like, all they did was add 2 more zeros, but how we get 30 instead of 23? But anyways.
All right, here we go. What this is saying is 130, right?
Why? But hold on. They said $100. It says if something costs $100.
Nah, it costs 100. But remember, it says gross right here. See this gross right here? Gross payment of 130. So if something costs $100, right? One would pay $30 in taxes. The Institute calculates. Remember, this is a tricky math it's talking about.
Okay.
So to most people, that works out to be a 30% tax, but it's called a 23% tax because $30 is 23% of the gross of 130. So you do 30 times. Right. That's a 23% that the Republicans are talking about. It'll be it's actually a 23% tax, what it goes up to, not the 30. But like this, the math where we're investing, if you have $100 and you lose 50% of that puts you at $50, right?
Right.
Okay. You can't get another 50% return to go back to 100 because now you're at 50 and 50% of 50 is 25. You need 100% return to get back to $100 if you're at 50, because 100% of 50 is 50, and 50 plus 50 is 100. So that's the tricky math they're talking about with percentages, which is tricky.
Okay.
I've known you long enough.
Look, okay.
I know when you're pawns, they're like, okay, well, it's the math. It's got to be some type of right. I see it on the calculator.
Yeah,
Put it like this. I understand. I don't understand how to I need more. There are more variables here. There has to be. I understand what they're saying. Where they're saying something costs $100, right? And what they're saying is it actually costs $130 $30 because what the tax is on is the gross, not like the net. But the issue is like, what do you mean gross and net when you're paying for something from a retail standpoint? That's where it gets. Yeah, that's where it gets. Yeah,
something either costs $100 or it don't. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
look, put it like this.
You ain't say nothing about a paycheck in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only time I think gross and net apply, correct? I mean, you start talking about payment, like getting paid, right?
Look, I'm confused on what they even talking about. So I'm just like, okay. Okay, proponents claim, the only one confused. Yeah. But like this 23%, 30%. It's a lot. That's a lot. Proponents claim. Proponents claim this method of calculation is comparable to how we think about the income tax, but its main result is widespread confusion.
They were successful.
Oh my goodness. Okay, the proponents are arguing that taxpayers would keep their entire paychecks. Not true, because you're still gonna have state tax. This is why I like doing stuff live. This is not true. You're not going to keep your entire paycheck. You still have to pay state taxes unless you live in Florida, Texas, and another handful of states that have no state income tax. But in Maryland, you're still going to pay them taxes on the state side, while only paying taxes on what they spend. And since states already collect taxes, see, this is where it gets that. Why do you contradict yourself? How am I going to keep my entire paycheck? Being going to tell me that's what I'm talking about.
Why did they just say that?
Oh, they're talking about sales. My bad. They're talking about sales taxes, not income taxes. By the way, taxes are different. You got sales taxes, you got income taxes, you got federal tax, you got state taxes. You don't pay tax on everything. Like grocery store, you don't pay tax on like food and stuff like that. You don't pay tax on gas. All these different types of taxes. Okay, so we're talking about when you buy something from the store that is actually taxed. If you go buy some food from the grocery store, you don't pay taxes on it.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that's just so if y'all quick rundown of the tax system, which is highly confusing. It would be simple. It would simply be a matter of raising the rate. Okay, the shift would have major consequences. Rice libertarian, annual tax returns and W-2s would cease to exist. No, you still got the state side. Obviously, maybe not though, because it's federal, but you still file your state taxes. People who make their money on the black market would be taxed at the same rates as anyone else. Is this a bad thing? Hold on. The black market means illegal, by the way. If you didn't know, that's not. The only time the black is referenced in a positive way when they're talking about like Black Friday, because when the market's in the black, that's very good. That shift would have major and immediate consequences, neither I guess good or bad. You know what I mean? Like cause and effect. But they're saying the people in the black market be taxed, which is good, I guess, because you're only going to be taxed down your sales and everybody's buying stuff. The enormous complication compliance costs currently associated with filing one's annual taxes would be cut significantly. With only one tax and no deductions, the entire process of funding the government would be precise and transparent. Yeah, if there are no federal taxes, then you're not going to get no deductions, because then you can't deduct them. You can deduct from zero, but right now there's not a deduction, not paying no taxes. A lot of those credits and stuff go away as well, probably. Tax complexities would still be in plentiful supply. Those opposed to legislation are not convinced it's all that simple. Well, yeah, anybody could told y'all this. First, there are 5 states that we got to talk about: Alaska, Delaware, Montana, New Hampshire, and Oregon. This is no sales tax, not income. I was talking about earlier was income with Florida, Texas, etc. Alaska, Delaware, Jordan, I know, because Jordan is right next to Delaware. I joke he lives in Delaware, but living in Maryland, you will go to Delaware because there is no sales tax.
Yes,
there as well. And then but Alaska, Delaware, Montana, New Hampshire, and Oregon, they have no sales tax at all. Second, all states, put it like this. This is why it can't go through, because in short, if you know how America works, you got separation of church and state. You got the federal government, you got the state government. They work together, but they don't work together. If you in Alaska, Delaware, Montana, New Hampshire, or Oregon, that's where I'm moving to Delaware.
Yeah, I look. Because you're right up in there.
If all I got is state taxes, I'm about to make a killing. Oh my goodness. Second, all states exempt some purchases that a national tax would not. Okay, oftentimes, for example, I tell you, I do not read these articles ahead of time. This is why you should listen to me, and this is why I know what I'm talking about. This is the collector of information you want to be talking about. Oftentimes, for example, groceries are not taxed while as I said, you don't get taxed at the grocery store. However, they're saying now you would pay taxes if you go in the grocery store. While prepared food and alcohol beverages are. So in short, not all food is taxed. It's the type of food you buy. So food and alcohol, McDonald's, you go to the bar, that's taxed. But grocery store, and by the way, some stuff at the grocery store is taxed. I mean, grocery store sells different things, but you buy regular food there, that's not getting taxed. Third, a bit ironically, the bill would give the Treasury Department authority to institute the national sales tax in states that would not agree to administer it. Again, I don't read these articles ahead of time. I just talked about it's just funny because it's like I know sometimes I'd be messing up, but like I know what I'm talking about. This is why people trust me because again, as I said, the federal government. We talked about the abortion. We had the episode on this, but it's like the federal government says, "Hey, states, y'all decide what abortion is." Now they're about to, and that the issue was that the federal government decided for the states. That was the whole issue. Right. This is America. That's not, that's one of the benefits of America, depending on what how you look at things. So now this is saying, hey, for those 5 states / everyone, you're gonna have this. Everyone's gonna have a national sales tax. This was just some sort of federal apparatus for tax collection. For a tax collection is required, we'll keep going. Which is, if you think too hard about it, sounds like it would involve something like the IRS. This would suggest some sort of federal apparatus for tax collection is required. Oh, this is saying to collect these national sales taxes, you would need something complicated, an apparatus to collect the taxes, which sounds like something the IRS would do. So you're going to get rid of the IRS, but you still need it because you got to collect the taxes.
You still got to have an organization to do the collection. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. The tax structure is obviously regressive as flat tax rates on goods and services add up to a higher percentage of a less well-off family's income, as it makes less money than a wealthy family. In short, if I go to the gas station and buy a tank of gas, it costs us the same amount because we pay the same for a gallon. The prices aren't different, but if my income is higher than yours or lower, however you look at it, I pay more or less for that out of a percentage of my income. Always remember, everything pretty much costs the same for everybody. It's about how much money you got and the percentage it takes to pay for stuff. Always remember that. Remember, with your income, the budget's not restrictive, your income is restrictive. As a response to this reality, a new taxpayer program will provide for a prebate, understood to act as a monthly stipend for those living under the federal poverty. Hold on.
Yeah, not a prebate.
In order to administer such a policy, a new agency would need to be created. Again, something sounding an awful lot like the IRS, which in theory would have been abolished. I want to be very clear. This might be the big, out of all, I read a lot of stuff. This might be the most contradictory statement in the history of mankind. So not only do the Republicans want to get rid of the IRS, and they would need that, some type of thing like the IRS to collect taxes.
Right.
The Republicans are saying, hey, we're going to get rid of the IRS and give people who are above the poverty line some type of prebate. The Republicans don't like giving people in poverty money.
Oh, man.
They don't. The Republicans want to decrease taxes and give these federal programs less money, but then they're going to get rid of the IRS and give them more.
It's nuts. And then they're going to get rid of the IRS and then create a new organization similar to the IRS to collect the tax. What? You're gonna rename the IRS and say that then.
If you don't say you're gonna get rid of them, just say you're gonna rename them and have them have a different task. But don't try, because it's headlines, clickbait. But it's like, I'm thinking what are y'all talking about? Which now it's like y'all not talking about doing that. Because
we in tech, there's a function for that. Like it's called rename. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't got copy paste. Like no, just rename. Okay.
Oh my goodness. How about this? There's nothing new under the sun. You got to collect. They've been collecting taxes forever. You know what I mean? Shout out to the richest man in Babylon. If you haven't read that, that's what you want to read to get foundational financial information. But my goodness, there's always taxes. There's always, y'all watch Game of Thrones? Never mind. Anyways, Jordan didn't, but everybody else did. Anyway,
I did not. Still haven't.
You didn't watch House of Dragons either?
Nope.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, well, we can keep going. We've discussed this multiple times on here. We've taken up enough airtime. While the fair tax does not provide families with rebates that could equal several $1,000s a year, it's not going to equal several thousand. So several thousands, 5, 6, 7. This is not nearly enough to offset the financial hit most Americans would face from the new national sales tax, writes the ITEP. I forgot what that was called. Let me see if that is. Okay, we're almost done. Good. It's also likely that the proposed tax plan would have unintended consequences for the wealthy, a constituency its conservative supporters tend to coddle. Namely, under the current income tax system, many affluent people find loopholes to avoid paying the amount of taxes as a percentage of income, right? As others, a consumption tax on luxury items, for example, would be inescapable. Yeah, 23% tax, flat tax on anything you buy. And I don't know, this is everything, like a house, car, but my goodness. That's the one thing. If you bought a car, how much? I mean, how much? That's a lot. This is a tax. I was like, you talk about 6% on 30,000. It's like, God.
Yeah.
It's a lot of tax.
Then the math, y'all telling me 23% ain't 23%. So I don't know how much it's gonna cost. I just know 23. If 23 is the floor and it can go up to 30, I don't know. It's gonna be a lot of money though. Like that's all I'm saying.
It's one of those things where the state taxes is saying, to wrap up, it's saying the state taxes are still going to exist. Cool, gotcha. Right? For the states that have that state tax. Then they're saying if you're in Delaware, Alaska, Montana, New Hampshire, Oregon, that the sales tax is going to show back up and you haven't had it. I don't know if those states have always never had it, but anyways, that's going to occur. But the theory would be you make $100,000, right? You pay federal taxes. If you're single, you're going to be in the 22 to 20. You're going to be in the 24% tax bracket. That's probably going to average out to somewhere around 15% or so. But in short, what you'll take home is around $6,000, right? So that's roughly 30% that you're paying in taxes. This is saying now you would actually make, instead of $6,000, $8,300 a month, right? And now just when you spend money, you got to pay 23%. So in short, take it
30, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is, right? That's the 30% to be on the safe side. But in short, you would take your budget now, make it your gross, not your net, right? That's what it would be, and then take everything you're spending money on, multiply it by, let's say 0.3 for the 30%, and it wouldn't be 0.3. It would be whatever your state, the delta between your state tax. So in Maryland, it'd be 20. It'd be a 24%, right? Because you're already paying 6%. So it'd be another 24%. So another 24 cents per dollar that you spend, and then that's what the delta would be. In short, I mean, this would be a law, but that's how you would see if you would be making out or not. My guess is, in all honesty, stay your ass now. Stay your ass in the house. If you want to come up, and how about this? Don't eat out. Don't eat out. You put it like this. You can't afford to. But I mean, like straight up, they don't tax. No, they said they're going to tax grocery stuff now, though. They said that. Yeah. They said that. Never mind this. You guys just screwed either way. Because it's like you see me. I got the loophole.
You gotta eat.
I got the loophole. I read that there wasn't going to be a loophole, but then I said there was going to be one. Put it like this. You're talking about being on a budget and being strategic. If this were to happen, I'm gonna have to get stuff copyrighted. Because I've been told y'all to say all asses in the house. Now you cannot spend money unless the math comes out.
Outside. Like it sounds like air costs money. Like we can't like 0.3. Look, that's a lot of money, y'all. That's a lot of money.
I'd be interested to see. Okay.
Something I can't afford the 0.6. I'm just, anyways. Go ahead.
You're struggling now. You got no money now.
Yeah.
I want to be very, very, very clear. If this were to go through, most people gonna have to get 2 jobs. Unless I'll run the math. If this were to happen, I'll run the math and I'll come over here and I'll let y'all know. Me personally, if I'm Jordan, I'll let y'all know if we up or down. We gonna if we up or down. And the Jordan, if I'm down, because I don't buy stuff, so like I don't pay a lot in sales taxes. You know what I mean? Right. I don't make a lot of purchases. Obviously, my grocery bill and stuff like that isn't taxed now. I have to pay, but I don't swipe a lot, so I'm on the lower end. For those of y'all who be just buying stuff, you got all this credit card debt, which is the definition of you buying a lot of stuff, unless you got medical debt. Most of you don't, but if you got a whole bunch of credit card debt, so you be swiping a lot, please.
Y'all be outside like,
no, God! No, God, please, no!
That's a lot of y'all with the 6%. All right, I'm just like y'all. So the 30 is gonna be devastating to y'all accounts. Okay, like you said, you can't afford it.
Nah, yeah, it would be one of those things where they would literally have to show how the percentage of them. My guess is everyone. I mean, you would only pass this, I guess, if people are going to have more money, right? In theory, right? Or propose it, not pass it, but propose it and pass it, I guess. But I'm just looking at this and saying, if I just have to pay no income taxes at all, this is going to benefit. I mean, now I'm thinking Republicans. They benefit people who got more money. This is going to benefit. The more money you make, the more this benefits you because you're in that higher tax bracket already, and you're already paying those taxes. We are, as I just said, if you make $100,000, you're roughly already paying 30%. So you're actually probably going to be in the same spot, and you might be able to come up because if you're only going to pay taxes when you buy things. So actually, now again, you making the average salary most people make in that 40 to 60K range. You in that 12% tax bracket. You about to get hammered. Because you buy the same stuff I buy, relatively speaking. Most people buy the same amount of stuff, and like I said, it all costs the same.
Right.
You gonna have to get 2 jobs. And we talk about can you afford to have a kid? Let's be clear.
Listen,
do y'all Hey, shout out to people who have the conspiracy theory about the population reduction schemes. If there was ever one, this is it. Let's talk about this. This would be a stealth one. You wouldn't be able to afford it. It'd be interesting to see what programs they cut, deductions they get rid of, things like that. Like, because they said they're still going to have poverty programs, I guess. But like that stuff is funded by tax dollars. You can get rid of food stamps. You gonna get rid of that stuff? Be very interesting.
But then they get a prebate. Don't forget the prebate.
I don't even know what the hell that is. I know what a probate is. I know a probate. I know a probate and a debate.
Well, I just figured it's got rebate in it, right? So I know what a rebate is. Maybe it's just an early rebate. I don't know. Rebate before. I don't.
Let me see how fast.
Is that not what they? Because a rebate usually means that you make a purchase and they give you the money back, right? So I'm assuming the rebate is they give you the money prior to the purchase.
That's what it sounds like. Let's see how fast I can share the tab. There we go. An amount paid in a lump sum to a customer up front at the beginning of any contract between customer and the relevant Unilever affiliate. Okay, like you're saying. So it's a discount. That's all it is. I mean, that's what it's a discount. Cool. Look, I mean, shout out to lower taxes.
They should just say that then. Look at that.
I'm pro lower taxes. I don't know enough about this math to see how it's going to shake out. The concerning thing is now you're making the tax system, which how America collects dollars, our government, being predicated off people buying things, which we are in a consumer economy. But it's like if people, like when we have recessions like now where people spend less money, that like our tax stuff is going to drop significantly as far as we're not buying nothing. So I'm not an economist though, which is the very complicated part of finances. I stay on the banking and budgeting side and investing stuff. So
I also think it creates a bigger opportunity for taxes to be, I guess, not overlooked, but like you said, a loophole, right? Somebody somewhere is going to find out how to sell stuff without charging taxes, right? And,
cash,
and so people are going to figure out how to exploit that. And I feel like, you know what I mean? There's always a loophole, and it just depends on how that joint's implemented and how people are able to take advantage of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the thing is now though they already transitioned, less cash type of transactions. So if I make it so my cash, I mean, dollar bills, y'all know,
right?
Not that you pay for it, no debt, physical currency. If you eliminate physical currency, then everyone's doing something online by definition.
Gotcha.
So, unless we're gonna start doing, shout out to Rich Man in Babylon, you actually start trading a real resource like actual sweat equity. Like I made this resource and I'm literally exchanging goods and services. Like
back to our bartering days.
Yeah,
give me your goat. I'll take a goat.
I'll give you some rugs.
There we go.
Also, remember too, by the way, because I just did the episode on this. This is a good transition because Walk Wednesday I talked about taxes, but always remember if you out here generating income and it's in a legal way, the IRS still wants to know. So if you sell drugs, you do any RICO, shout out to Young Thug, anything like that, the IRS still wants to know. So if you do something illegal and generate income, you still have to tell them by law, which is shout out to the IRS. Go ahead.
Because I got a question. So if you are doing a legal activity and you report the income on said illegal activity, do you then get arrested for said illegal? Like, is that? I guess what I'm saying is, can they hold that against you in a court of law? Because like
the IRS does not have, to my knowledge, the ability to arrest you for breaking non-tax laws. So they might call the police on you.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So they do have the ability to pass that information to somebody who can do something about it. Is what I'm asking, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I mean, anybody can call. Anybody can snitch. So yeah.
I got you. Okay.
Put it like this: when people go to jail, prison for this type of stuff, drug things like that, they have to pay restitution. They owe that stuff. Like if you get arrested for selling drugs,
right?
They tax you. They want that. They want that money. And you get out of jail, and you got this tax bill.
Nuts. That's nuts.
Shout out to America. It's one of the great funny. It's like a funny thing. It's like they're not kind of wrong. Like you gotta pay taxes on this, bro.
On all the drugs, all of them. Look at that.
How do they calculate it? And if you calculate it, why don't you go arrest it? Did you arrest these people? You know what I mean? Like, did you arrest illegal drug users?
It's look, 6% on every drug dollar. You know what I'm saying? Look at that.
Oh my goodness, right? They calculate how much you've been selling over the years, things like
You're
that.
Right.
Oh my goodness. All right, do you have anything else?
No, sir. I think we got
all right. Locked and loaded. Fitness recap.
Let's bring it back. The question was, are there various styles of running? Yes, there are various styles of running. There is, up at the highest level, there's proper and improper technique. If you are using improper technique, you want to use as much proper technique as you can. Then when we get into actual running styles, there are different running styles. Ultimately, you just want to use what's best for you, which gives you the most efficient output with the least impact and allows proper recovery. Okay, so are the various styles of running? What is the proper running technique? I'll run through the individual statistics, or not statistics. What am I trying to say? Characteristics. Excuse me. You want to make sure that you are using proper posture. So you're sitting up, not sitting up straight, but sitting up about an 80 degree lean when running. You want to make sure you're engaging your core, bringing those knees up while engaging your stride or gait. If you can, use your open hand versus the closed hand, saying somebody who does that. But use your open hand as opposed to your closed hand. And what we didn't talk about is breathing. But that's all another. Anyways, make sure you're breathing properly if you're not doing so. And then you want to make sure that you are using mid-foot strike to make sure you are propelling yourself forward during stride. Okay. And how does style impact your run, efficiency, time, getting the best results. All of these things can be impacted by the minute details that go into your proper running form. Got it? Good. Finance question. Will Republicans, I was going to read it for you. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Finance question. Will Republicans be able to get rid of the IRS, Corey?
Man, look, I want to be, I always say this. One of my many quotes. I want to be very clear. If this goes through, I'm just going to laugh. Like this. Because I'd be so excited to run the math. Like I do a lot of math, as y'all can imagine. But the anticipation of this being a positive or negative while I'm running these calculations.
This is a wild thing.
Yeah, put it like this. I'll just do it now. But I'll just do it when I get off of this and budget. Take everything, figure out, what my monthly budget is and multiply by 0.23, or I guess add 30 now, right? Anyways, though, they said that the states that don't have a sales tax will have a sales tax to go through. That's Alaska, Montana, Oregon, Delaware, and New Hampshire. Those states do not have a sales tax. These states would now have a sales tax when you purchase things like groceries from the grocery store, which you do not pay taxes on now. They would have a tax on them as well from a sales standpoint. Like Jordan said, it's going up to 23% or 30%. They did some funny math, but anywhere from 23 to 30% it was going to be. They're going to get rid of all federal taxes. It did not clearly state whether or not deductions and credits are going away. My guess would there would be, though, because there are no federal taxes, so therefore there are no deductions or credits for federal taxes. State taxes would still exist. Obviously, it's going to be interesting if this even gets passed. This was something, again, by Buddy Carter, representative for Georgia, I believe. I don't know if he's representative or he's a congressman, at least, for Georgia. But definitely something interesting. And all honesty, when people talk about, politics, this is just something they just put out there. When I tell you that, first off, I believe the Senate's blue, but this is not going to get passed. The chance of this getting passed based off of what we just saw, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Because
the whole strategy is nuts. You want to eliminate the IRS, create a new organization that does similar actions to what the IRS does. You want to give people all their money, impose a 23 to 30% tax. So you get your entire check, but now you got to pay me 30% on all purchases made. You know what I'm saying? And then expect people to survive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, you want to get rid of the people who collect taxes, but still collect taxes at a federal level. That just simple logic. What? Just simple logic. Okay. And that's what the article mentioned, there's a couple of shots which I thought was cool. It's pretty funny that they did that. So that, again, we didn't read, it's not like we read the bill. This is an article. This is just summation by, again, Jeffrey Quiggle. We're trusting that Jeffrey did the right thing and gave us the facts and then, insert his opinion. But based off of what we read, that it doesn't make any sense. We would obviously have to read the bill to know exactly what they're trying to do. Also, too, shout out to the prebate. If you are under the poverty line, they're going to give you a prebate. But I think they're going to get rid of your SNAP, which I guess is compensation for your prebate. It is what it is.
It is. Exchange? Nobody knows. Look at it.
Oh, my goodness. Put it like this. Make more money. That's always the answer. But I mean, because that will be the answer.
And buy less things, apparently.
You're gonna have to buy less stuff. That were to happen, in all seriousness, if there's a 23% sales tax, you have to purchase less stuff. There's no option. I mean, unless they're saying we're gonna be having 5% more, at the end of the month, even with this, with no taxes. But again, like I said, this is only going to benefit people who are, as Republicans do, but people who have a higher income. Because the more income you make, the less percentage of your income is going to be for this increase of sale taxes. So if you're making around the poverty line, you're a little bit above it. No, this is going to destroy you. this is going to destroy you. Wait, you got the finish him.
Listen, the pre. Oh yeah.
Fatality.
Just like that.
Oh yeah, they got to disappear on two. They got to restart. Yeah, you lost that fight, but you know, but yeah, that's not the move. I would be against this based off of just this. I would definitely have to read it and figure out what else would be going on with this. So, but all right, that's it. Do you have anything else?
No, sir.
All right. We did not. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, if you listen to this podcast and you have done so, and you've watched us on YouTube and you have not liked, shared, subscribed, rated, reviewed, or commented, how dare you? Okay, we need you to do all of the above. Please like, share, subscribe, rate, review. We are Cordan in full effect on YouTube, on all podcast platforms. Cory helped me name them all because I'm gonna miss one. So all our podcast platforms. If you listen to podcasts, wherever you listen to them at, type in Cordan in full effect and we on there. All right. We want all the smoke. Thank you for joining us today. If you tuned in, I saw the number kind of go up and down a little bit. We have some people that kind of clicked in, clicked out, whatever, man. We out here. We're gonna continue to be here. Sundays is when we give out this game. Okay. All right. So you can't say you didn't know. We're giving you the free fitness game, free finance game. All right. At least every other week. We're going, we're trying to work on the frequency, but a minimum every other week. All right. So thank you for being here. Please put us in a group chat with your friends, share us around, have these conversations, okay? Controversial topics. We love that. We love it. All right. Bring it over here. All right.
Yes. Pull up your man. Also, too, because you said the game. Who do you have today? I don't know. I can't remember what we picked last week or 2 weeks ago. No, 2 weeks ago it wasn't. Yeah. So, but you got 49ers, Eagles.
I was looking, man. The more I look, I'm like, I'm very excited for today's games because the more you start observing them, I was like, oh, this is gonna be like these are gonna be really. Both games are gonna be really good games. I want to say the Eagles because I'm an NFC East, so I'm a Commanders fan. For people who don't know, my team's been home. And listen, I say it with pride because at this point, like,
it's just funny.
You can't hurt our feelings. Like they haven't done anything since I've been alive. I'm about to be 30. Anyways, look at that. That being said, I'm a Commanders fan, so if somebody is left, this far in the game that is from the NFC East, I always try to root for our division. You know what I mean? However, the 49ers are stacked. I think we were talking about, like, you know what I'm saying? They pretty much got a superstar at almost every starting position. It's like, dang, that's real. Like, you start naming off people and it's like, dang, I know that person. Oh, I know that person too. It's only 11 players. By the time you get to number 10, I'm like, oh, I know all of these people. You know what I mean? Like,
they are loaded.
That being the case, I gotta make a decision. I'm gonna say Philly for the first game. It's gonna be a close game. I am gonna say Philly, gonna pull it out. And then I was saying Mahomes before, but I don't know, man.
Nobody knows but the Chiefs.
Yeah,
we're gonna find out though.
I'm about to say I won't know until I see him on the field, but I am gonna say the Chiefs. So we're gonna see. I think he's gonna get one today. Yeah, I know. Wow. I know. We just talking about the stats against Joe. Against Joe Burrow. Yeah. I am gonna say I think he's gonna get one today. I think he got something to prove. You know what I'm saying? You don't let somebody whoop your ass but so many times. You feel me? Especially when you're trying to be great.
He just lost. He ain't been whooped. He ain't been whooped.
I mean, you know what I mean. You the win. You football. You
on three. You on three. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Some type of whoop. You see you losing.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. An L is an L. I don't care if it's about 1 and 30. You know what I'm trying to say? You still lost. So at the same, I think he got something to prove. You feel me? So I'm saying Philly, and then I'm saying Chiefs. What about you?
You're going chalk. You're picking both 1Cs. I wish I knew how healthy Patrick Mahomes is because it's not fair. It's not.
Yeah.
I usually always. Yeah, I usually I had Chiefs Bucks this year because as long as Tom Brady's playing, I'm gonna keep picking him until he. But you get there damn near 50% of the time. It's a safe bet.
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
it is
but I had the Chiefs again this year because I said Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady. That's my pick. But he is hurt, and they have not beat the Bengals. And I think it's the Bengals' time because I don't know if I told you. I think I told you that it was off air, but there's a lot of crazy stats. But apparently, every Super Bowl quarterback and head coach combination that have won one, they won one within their first 5 years together, which is insanity. All of them, not obviously people have multiple, but the first one was within the first 5 years, which is a crazy stat to think about. But when you start looking at it, obviously it's always happened. So for Joe Burrow, Zach Taylor was head coach of the Bengals to get his, they coming up on I believe this is year 3. I mean, they only got 2 years left. and you're gonna start paying people soon. So I think it's gonna be very interesting to see because I think they don't have to pay T. Higgins next year, but after next year, I believe it might be this year, but his contract is coming up because he's not a first round pick, so he doesn't have that 5th year extension that they can exercise on it because they drafted Joe Burrow that year in the first round. Then you're paying Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, right? I mean, you already know that,
right? So
you gotta it's hard cap in the NFL for those who don't know, so the money's real tricky there. And then I think we can see when the Panthers won the Super Bowl and they dogged the Cardinals in the conference championship game. I think the Eagles are on a driving path. They've been the best team all year, start to finish. And so I wouldn't be surprised they open the can. 49ers are loaded though, but I would not be surprised because they just destroyed the Giants, which the Giants not in the league, but they just did, and that's what the Panthers did, that they opened the can until they got Super Bowl, but they was running through pretty much everybody like the Eagles did. And so I think that's your Jalen Hurts appears to be healthy, unfortunate Patrick, but Jalen seems to be back. But I think that I think it'll be Eagles Bengals. And then I think the Bengals going to win because I think it is like it has to happen or something has to change. Like the data is you got to get done the first 5 years. So now they got 2 years left in Cincy. And I think Joe Burrow going to get a ring. I would hope so. I would hope he gets a ring the way he's playing, but we'll see.
And it's the consistency too. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, he's getting better. I mean, he's literally getting better every year. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so it's like,
look, the last 2 years he played a full season, college and NFL. He's been in the championship game. If he wins again today, that'll be 3 years in a row. His rookie year, he got hurt. He wasn't going to make the playoffs anyways because they were trash. But I mean, the last 3 years he has on his record, if he wins today, I'm in the championship game. Like, it's going to be interesting.
I'm still rooting against him. I ain't about to hold
you. See, that's the thing.
I'm still rooting against him.
Most people don't. Even though they root against the teams in their division, even if they're still left. So you're like, I still root for the Eagles because I'm an NFC East, homer. Nah, I don't want the Chiefs. I'm a Chargers fan. I don't ever want the Chiefs to win. It's not a good thing.
Let me be very clear. The only time I contradict the rule that I just said, if it's the Cowboys, if the Cowboys were still left, I want anybody to destroy. I do not like the Cowboys.
Nobody likes the Cowboys.
I want everybody to destroy the Cowboys. Okay.
And I think that's how it is. Everybody hates the Commanders, formerly the Redskins, and the Cowboys. But the Eagles and Giants sort of just like,
they just get by. They unscathed. You know what I mean? Like, that's cool. You know what I mean?
Obviously, the Cowboy, most hated team, probably ever in the history of sports. They also got, I think they work the most. But
gotcha. Yeah. But I think they're definitely in the top 5 for the best the NFL franchises.
They should still be number 1 unless the Patriots surpass them. Yeah. What happened is a lot of these teams move. Like when the Rams moved to LA, they went up a lot. But Cowboys should still be the highest. Anyways, though, they're at 8 billion. Good God, and Patriots at 6 billion.
Hence America's team.
Yeah, and NFC East, I believe, is the only division where every team is in the top 10 as far as value.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because like Washington is 5th. Like how bad they've been, or 6th. I'm sorry. Yeah, how bad they've been, but
we saw a lot that's the bad part, man. We sell a lot of tickets for us to be ass. It's crazy. We sell too many tickets for us to be ass. You know what I'm saying? Like it's nuts, And I'm loyal though. I've been a fan my entire life. I want them to do something before I die. That'd be nice. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But like you said, we're gonna get good games either way. But I'm more excited for the AFC game because it's just like, and I want to say because I remember I want to say something because I want to get this on wax on the internet because we in Maryland. I know y'all love Lamar Jackson, cool. Joe Burrow is messing up his bag, whether you like it or not. If Joe Burrow balls out today and wins, and then he balls out in 2 weeks and wins, it costs him more like $50 million from the Ravens. What do you want them to do? What do you want Steve Bisciotti to do? Guarantee $300 million? And Joe Burrow just came in here and went to 2 Super Bowls and won 1 back to back, and we still got to beat Patrick. Never mind. I'm not gonna get into it. It's not a sports podcast, but I'm just saying, Joe Burrow, the better he plays, the less money Lamar is gonna make from the Ravens. Any other team come through, but the Ravens, no. In your division. People don't want to say these things, and it's unfortunate, but my God.
It makes sense. I mean, anyways, but all right, y'all.
All right, wrap up. All right, we're good. We have anything else? Hit that like button. Jerks.
Like, share,
subscribe, rate, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Audible, Spotify, because Jordan said, Corey, help me out. Anchor.
All that.
All right, y'all. So again, 2 weeks again, it'll be Super Bowl again next time. So we'll see if our predictions are right. We both got the Eagles. Cincy versus Chiefs. We'll see who wins that way.
We're gonna see.
But, yep. All right. Do you have anything else?
No, sir.
All right, y'all. So remember to save more and say less.
And keep making better your best.
And we will catch y'all in the
Next one.
Let's go.
He just said, forget me, huh? Look at that.
Wealth Wednesday, man. Wealth Wednesday. See y'all later, y'all.
All right.